Yeah, we can open this up for questions. Let's do that.
Did you guys like Final Wars?
I like Final Wars.
I love
myself.
Final Wars.
Yeah, I mean it's kooky. It gets into some weird super spy between MI6 and Power Rangers kind of territory. But
Yeah, it was total. Like, to me,
like,
it was X-Men meets the Matrix meets Godzilla.
But for me, anything that has the full all-star lineup of every monster, I'm there because that's my dream. I want to have a movie with everybody in it.
Yeah, I'll say this too, that I am a rather newly minted stepdad, and my kids ask for that. You know what I mean? And so Godzilla movies get shown a lot because I'm showing them, and they need to get brought up right? That's how it works. But man, they ask for Final Wars, you know? So it is wildly entertaining to, you know, the kids who are 14, and 9.
Speaking to the suit, though, I agree with you. I mean, you start off with the Millennium Godzilla 2000, who, I mean, talk about really armored.
That's an awesome suit.
Yeah, and then they, for some reason, but I mean, it's more or less stayed the same up until Final Wars, and then they went a whole new direction with. And I didn't mind the Final Wars suit, but it just didn't make sense. Why would you go from something you made such a statement with the Godzilla 2000 suit? And then he went this other way, which was a little bit, it was a throwback to the 54 suit, but not really, and I don't know what they were thinking about that one.
Okay, any
I
other
just
questions?
want to answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
No.
Go ahead, shoot.
Final Wars grew on me. When I first saw it, I saw it here when they showed it at the Egyptian, and the sound mix was awful. They had it so loud that it hurt my ears. And so that affected me. Clearly I'm affected by sound. But as I've watched it over and over and read more about the director's vision, and honestly, because of Don Fry, I love him in that movie. I've never seen him in anything else, but every time I see him, I like him more and more and more. He's just so, I can't even say wonderfully bad. I think he's really great.
I saw him in one of his Geico commercial, I think a year ago, and I was like, stop crying!
So now I enjoy it.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead, Lynn.
Will Toho start producing Godzilla movies again?
I believe one's coming out next year.
Yeah, it's already shooting.
We could segue that into the future, right?
I know they were in pre-production. I think they did start shooting already.
Yeah.
Actually, from what I just heard, they just finished live action shooting.
They just finished live action?
Yeah, I just received a link from Facebook from one of the sites mentioning that one of the actors was posting that they had just finished shooting, I believe.
But by the live action, do they mean they just shot it with the human actors and now they're
I think possibly just the human actors.
Yeah, it's just the human actors, right? I think that's basically what you just said. It's gone into post-production.
Well, but they finished the human side.
Yeah.
Because most likely with these films, what you'll see is they'll shoot all the human elements first, and then they'll spend a lot of the time on the set with the miniatures and doing. And that's the great thing about the Toho new film. From what I understand, we're going back to the old days as far as effects go. It's almost as if Toho lets Americans have the property for a film, sees how far we can get with it, and then they have to come in and clean up our mess.
Yeah.
Actually, now they're trying to cash in on the success.
They will cash in on the success. Well, as much as I enjoyed the legendary,
I would not say they're cashing in on this success. I would say that they wait for like Frank said, like Americans get it, and then we screw it up.
Yeah,
right?
we screwed up.
And then they're like, okay, people want a good Godzilla movie.
They want a good
Godzilla, real Godzilla movie.
Well, they're able to prove to but it's a little bit of a mixture of the also success of it. I think, with any studio, they have a board they have to go to, and they'll say, hey, look, the Americans just did it. They didn't do it as good as we could do it, but they still made millions of dollars. We should be doing that.
It's probably like watching a mediocre cover band perform music that you wrote. You know.
But still, Legendary, as you all know, has laid out this plan for Godzilla 2 with King Kong and Skull Island, and then ultimately by 2020, if we can last that long, we get King Kong versus Godzilla.
Let me go ahead and put that in my calendar.
Yeah, 2020, King Kong versus Godzilla, all because
I will be 5 years older then.
Because Edwards had to go off and do a Star Wars film in between as opposed to hopping off. We can get somebody else to do the next Godzilla film. I'm not sure if we need him.
Can I tell you a funny joke I heard about that?
Okay.
That Boba Fett's gonna show up an hour 10 into the film.
Boba Fett's gonna come out and buy a latte. And he's gonna kick some ass. I wanna know how they're gonna scale King Kong up. I mean, because unless Kong Skull Island has no bearing whatsoever on the Peter Jackson film, which, as you may or not know, but the Jackson film was also a legendary production.
Yeah,
So I was thinking they would probably keep that King Kong in the same Peter Jackson universe, but maybe they won't. Maybe we'll get a much bigger King Kong.
Can we have an entire Peter Jackson universe where like Sauron?
After the Hobbits, I'm not so sure I want to go there. Yes, we had another question from Master Chief.
Wait, did you guys actually like the original Godzilla vs. King Kong or not?
Oh yeah.
That's a good question.
I love that film.
I liked that film.
Well,
I kinda liked it. I kinda liked it.
Kinda liked it, okay.
Because, like, I thought at the end how stupid it was for the fact that King Kong gets struck by lightning and then he suddenly gets all these superpowers. It goes like Super Saiyan King Kong.
Yeah, I think for me the thing about even the Godzilla King Kong film that comes out in 2073 when I'm dead, right? How's it gonna end, guys? It's gonna end in a tie, right? It's gonna end in a tie. So who the hell cares? You know, I don't know.
I care. I want to see Godzilla win.
You want to see
Well,
Godzilla?
but there's plenty of people. You know, there's some King Kong panel right now where
Maybe by
they're probably going
2020.
pretty crazy for King Kong winning. You know, so.
By 2020, we'll have Oculus. All of us will have an Oculus headgear, and we can pick our own ending.
It would be like choose your own adventure. It would be fantastic.
Running under feet and running between legs.
I wish they'd do it like they did Clue, which is shoot two endings, and you never know which one you're going to get. So you go to the theater, and sometimes you see Kong win, and you go to the theater, and sometimes you see Zilla win.
That would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. You had a question?
Well, first question.
Well, you only get one.
What do you guys think of GMK?
Okay,
Loved it.
hold it. Show of hands. Who here has GMK as one of their 5 favorite Godzilla films?
Oh.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And what did you think?
I enjoy.
I gave away. I think it's one of my favorites.
I enjoy anything with monsters, so I'm an easy sell.
Pretty much for me, I guess perhaps, and I don't know if it's the same for anyone here, is that film that after the disaster of Megaguirus,
Yeah.
GMK was pretty much what we all needed because it brought the series back full circle to what it was really supposed to be about, and the dark legacy, I guess you could say.
I liked Megaguirus.
the-
Now you just hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry, but
That was fine words.
Steven, what did you think about
Yeah, what did you think?
about GMK?
Well, I mean, obviously, I love the design, but I loved the film in general. I really did. My favorite of the Millennium, though, is the twofer, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, and then Tokyo SOS. I think those two together are just a real great 1-2 punch.
Rare actual continuity between one film and the
Yeah,
other, too.
and done really well too.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What are your thoughts about the upcoming Gamera film?
Okay, so my first question back to you is there confirmation that there is an upcoming Gamera film?
I've talked to a couple of people and
It was confirmed at the New York Comic Con.
Because, okay, so the way I interpreted New York Comic Con was that they did this kind of mood piece for 4 minutes. You know, I mean, I've seen it, right? But I didn't get the vibe that means there's actually going to be a Gamera film coming up.
No.
Is that a thing?
They said this year.
Okay.
It's actually finished filming.
Oh, that's fantastic. Then. Well, then my thoughts are I cannot wait to see it.
Right.
The Gamera trilogy from the 90s is my absolute favorite giant monster films. So, how about you?
I'm going to admit to being a really bad kaiju fan. I stuck to Godzilla.
Really?
I mean, I saw Gamera.
Hold on, have you seen the Gamera trilogy from the 90s?
Not the trilogy from the 90s.
Oh.
I saw the Gamera films from the early days.
Okay.
Because those were always on TV when I was growing up, so I saw them. But for me, it was always kind of like a Godzilla substitute, so I never really got on the Gamera train.
I will, okay, so in my opinion, Frank, like, again, the Gamera trilogy from the 90s is arguably the best 3 giant monster films.
I will go watch it now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Steven, what you think?
I'd actually agree. I think for consistency of acting, writing, story, in addition to visual effects, those 3 films are they're really incredible.
So I should.
And they're also a great. I mean,
No, stay being a snob, but watch them anyway.
exactly. Get off your high.
I married a snob.
Well, again, but and people haven't seen them or would like to purchase them on Blu-ray or whatever. Look, it's not like I get endorsed by it or anything. You can find them all three for $10 on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
it's insane, and they are you love it, Frank, because
There's always a gamerifier.
it suits with digital augmentation as opposed to going all the way
I'm
digital.
sure. I'm philosophically, as a filmmaker, I'm sure I would be fine with it because I'm always a practical effects kind
But
of.
it proves it can work too, which is nice because I think a lot of people tend to think like, oh, suits aren't as cool as digital. Digital is awesome, you know. But just out of curiosity, has anyone seen the trailer for the Ultraman series that's coming out next year?
Yeah, the computer generated one?
Yeah, the
Oh,
CGI one, right? Did you like it? Go ahead. I know who raised your hand. Did you like it? Does it look interesting to you? Yeah.
He has toes.
That doesn't do it. That's enough. You're out.
Ultraman has toes.
Not that I won't watch it. But
No. I really liked it. Except there's a couple moments where it's like the CGI is just all wrong, like when the monster knocks Ultraman back into the building and it just feels so weird.
It was like a naked person.
Yeah.
City, and it's
If
getting mixed messages from this.
Awkwardness, yeah. But I think that's a good example of when when digital effects go wrong. You know, I mean, look, I'm gonna see it and I'm interested for it.
Remind me, in your film, Men in Suits, I forget who it was, I think it was Brian Steele, but I could be wrong, who mentioned that, you know, one of the best ways to do effects is to have an actor in a suit performing and then to touch it up with digital.
Well, that's always the better thing. I mean, digital has its place. I mean, there are obviously some things that you need to do digitally that you can't do practically. And more often than not, look, one of the more successful films that has done this is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, not the Hobbits, the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes.
They mixed practical with CG in a lot of different places. Films like Hellboy do the same.
The Hellboy
You know, because with a lot of these suits, as you can tell, I mean, there's going to be little gaps, and you'll see them. So traditionally what we'll do on the set is we'll take flaps of latex and just stuff it in there like it's a fat fold, but you still see the seams. Well, you can paint those out, and you can give a ripple to Samheim in the first Hellboy. Has a lot of digital layover done to him. So yes, the two things work together. They work great. And there's also films like the Jurassic Park films that hand over from digital to CG in the same shot. They'll be panning from one velociraptor to another, and one of them's a puppet and one of them's not. But because we are able to scan the models that they're all built on, you can't tell. And that, I think, that is the secret, is just mixing it up so you can't tell.
And the reason I brought that up is because if this new Ultraman, if they do the digital via mocap, you know, where they're either touching up or they're directly painting over a human figure so that they actually have proper motion, that to me feels a lot more interesting digitally.
And it will be interesting, but the thing with mocap though is that as good as it's gotten, which the best mocap I've seen was the last Planet of the Apes movie, if anybody saw that. And I love Andy Serkis as much as the next person, but he has a great cottage industry in mocap. But mocap is not one-to-one. Mocap has not reached the level where you can put on the tennis ball, the ping pong balls and walk around, and then boom, you get a complete character.